You're listening to My Comic Life on the My Comic Life Podcast Network. Welcome back to another great episode of My Comic Life, folks. Thanks for tuning in. As you know, we are your podcast for all things geek, nerd, comic, movies, video games, pop culture. If that's what you're into, you found the podcast for you, My Comic Life. Joining me each week in the My Comic Life studio, well, folks, the only man I know who mastered the Green Lantern ring in 30 seconds flat. I know, I was timing this guy the entire time. He mastered it. Got it all done. True Green Lantern here. Alex, say hi to the folks there, Alex.
Folks at home, just to let you know, I did end up losing that ring, but so there's a bolo out for it. Please let me know. Get in my emails if you do happen to come across a Green Lantern ring. Let me know, please. How you doing, folks at home? Glad you could tune in with us this week on the seemingly Marvel podcast. But hey, what are you gonna do? DC, you got to step up. I'm sorry. If you do so, I will be glad to put you in the show. But what do you have for us this week, Sam?
All right. I mean, you put it best there. Kicking things off on this very marvelous podcast. We got some big news from Marvel Studios this week when we got our first look at Shang Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Officially classified as a teaser, the details of the storyline are scant, but there's plenty of action to feast upon for your eyes. Initial thoughts on this trailer, Alex? Like, did you see this one coming? Were you expecting this trailer? What did you think about it?
I actually wasn't expecting this trailer for a couple of weeks, at the very least, but it was nice to get. I think when it did come out Monday, I believe, but it was. I had a lot of fun actually watching this trailer. It didn't reveal too much. I know that's kind of what you especially like in
Yeah.
trailers is not a lot of information out there. But there was a bunch of little Easter eggs in there that if you looked hard enough and if you took repeated looks at the trailer, you did find them. So I am actually pretty jazzed for this. I know when we had our talk a couple of weeks ago about the full slate that Marvel has here in the second half of 2021, Shang-Chi wasn't really on my radar, but it definitely is now because it drew me in with this trailer, man. Sam, you got any thoughts on it?
Oh man. Like at first, like when I saw this trailer, I was just like, huh. Like my jaw was kind of like on the ground, and I was just kind of in shock. Like initial shock. I was like, am I really seeing Shang Chi come to life? And like I've gone back and watched this thing at least 20 times, and like every time, man, like I'm just noticing new things, and yeah, man, just getting more and more excited. When Marvel announced its Phase 4, like this was the film that kind of caught my attention. I didn't know a lot about Shang-Chi, and I'm still playing some catch up and research here. But once again, I thought this was a great step for Marvel and a really fun and cool direction for them to go. And so I was most excited to like see this one coming out of Phase 4. And man, this trailer did not disappoint. The martial arts looks amazing in this. The fight scenes
Yeah.
are spectacular. I'm excited for this. Um, do you think we're actually going to? I mean, this is called Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Do you think we're going to get our first real look at the Mandarin here, or is it going to be like another faux or fake Mandarin, Alex?
I think we do. Hopefully we'll get a little bit more into the lore of the Eastern Hemisphere side of Marvel, especially with Shang Chi and with the Eternals. They've been really hush hush about these two properties up to this point, so it's kind of nice to get at least something. But I one of the main things that I look forward to is that Shang-Chi in the comic books, you never really got an origin story. He just kind of just appeared as a result of the, popularity of, you know, things like Enter the Dragon and, that whole
Yeah,
the whole Bruce Lee
the
explosion in Hollywood. Marvel was, always, thinking forward and, we got to get in on this trend. So they came out with Shang-Chi and they just kind of hit the ground running. They never actually did a proper origin story, which you get in this movie. So, but back to your question about do we get the real Mandarin? I certainly hope so. I hope that he's not one of those one and done villains in Marvel movies. I hope he goes on to actually being multiple properties, whatever those may be. But I mean, do you think we're gonna get another Ben Kingsley, or do you think
Uh,
we're getting the real deal?
no, I'm sold here. I think we're finally going to get a look at the real Mandarin. I think we got a look at in Iron Man 1 at like one maybe like, like the Ten Ring, gangs per se, kind of like an offshoot there, or like a cell of the Ten Rings, cuz you would see the Mandarin and Ten Rings logo in Iron Man 1 in that camp where he's kidnapped. But no, I think finally this is the real deal Mandarin that we're getting here, and I hope he makes, or I hope there is some sort of like throwaway line, to like Ben Kingsley being some sort of fake, or like, we allowed this guy to, pretend so we could, carry on more evil and nefarious deeds and like the background. But I do hope that they at least, kind of like jokingly acknowledge Ben Kingsley playing a faux Mandarin and Ten Rings. But yeah, no, I think finally, especially with the title being Shang Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, yes, I think finally we're gonna get a real Mandarin and a real look at the Mandarin.
And and I think it was actually kind of a bit of a surprise that we actually got a trailer, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. The release of the trailer came, as you said, as a bit of a surprise to the star Simu Lee, the Canadian actor tapped to play Shang-Chi. He celebrated his birthday on April 19th with the release of the official poster of his upcoming Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 4 production, saying on Twitter, "Whoever said you could only receive presents on your birthday? Today, I'm giving you the very first look at the teaser poster for Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, coming to theaters September 3rd. We are almost there, people." To the surprise of Simuli and millions of fans around the world, Marvel had one more birthday present. The production company released a teaser soon following the unveiling of the poster. Now, Shang-Chi is touted as being one of the greatest martial artists on Earth. He's been trained since birth to become the ultimate warrior. Shang-Chi's fighting skills are so adept that he fought Danny Rand, aka Iron Fist, the living weapon, to a stalemate. He's proficient with all martial arts weaponry and is a skilled marksman, and he is still an unenhanced human, but he is at peak physical condition. Alex, where do you think Shang-Chi fits into the MCU fighting pantheon?
I mean, in the comics, like you said, he fought Iron Fist to a standstill, and matter of fact, I think it was T'Challa who actually was like, I think Shang Chi won. He was like, oh man, I think Shang Chi kicked your ass, bro. Like, so a lot of people say he's number one when it comes to hand to hand, one on one fights, and he has taken on people like uh, Wolverine, and I think he did help Peter Parker develop his specific fighting style based on his abilities and based off of like the spiders attacks and everything like that. So it was I I don't know. I mean, until I see any different, man, I really got to kind of put him at the top. I mean, it would be like what Shang-Chi one. I guess you could put Danny Rand as a second, maybe Wolverine three, and I don't know if Wolverine counts as MCU yet or not. But if he does, I'll put Wolverine three. If not, then I would probably put Steve Rogers at that three spot. So that'd probably be my top three as the fighting pantheon. But what about you, man? Who do you got?
Oh man, definitely got Shang-Chi clocking in at one, especially if he fought Iron Fist to a stalemate. Coming in at two, I mean, if we're just going solely based on hand-to-hand combat here, then yeah, I got Iron Fist clocking in at two. I'm gonna give the third spot to Daredevil myself there. I think he's,
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
yeah, man, that dude's an excellent fighter. Uh, Clocking in at four for me, probably the Black Panther. That guy's great. Just another great stand-up hand-to-hand combat. And then yeah, like rounding out number five would probably be Captain America. So yeah, those would be my top five. Like hand-to-hand Marvel fighters, like right there. Like yeah. But question here. I mean, speaking of like these Marvel heroes, do you think that Shang-Chi fits in more with like Avenger caliber threats, or should we expect him to see him fighting alongside the X-Men?
Honestly, man, the Avengers they take on like gods and aliens with superior technology and stuff like that. So I fail to see how he would possibly be able to help out. I mean, I guess in some way he could help out. I mean, they do have, you know, not no disrespect, but they do have, Hawkeye and Black Widow, and those are kind of the only two that aren't chemically or physically enhanced or anything like that. So I guess there might be room for Shang Chi, but I don't. I just don't see it. I would stick him in the X-Men universe, let him fight. I don't know, whoever in Pyro or somebody like that. Somebody, some runaway crazy man that's got a tank. Shang Chi can go ahead and chop the tank in half or something, or whatever it is that he does. But I just Avengers caliber threats are like they're world ending or multiversal threats, and X Men are a little bit more like not. I mean, X Men are like, what's the biggest threat that they've faced? Like nuclear annihilation? Oh, okay, sure. I mean, I don't say that. I guess I'm being kind of an ass here, but it's to me, it's just the Avengers are who you call in when there's not really much else that you can do. Whereas the X Men is kind of you send them first. And no disrespect to Shang Chi, but I just fail to see how he helps out when you have a Thor or a Hulk or or anybody in that caliber. So that's just how I feel. But what do you think, man? You think Avengers, or you think X-Men, or you think maybe he should just did stick him in Hell's Kitchen, or what?
Um, I think personality wise, and the tone of this film, he seems to be matching up more with the Avengers. I don't see him quite fighting, fighting alongside mutants. Yeah, if I had to stick him with any group, I would stick him with, excuse me, I would stick him with the Defenders. Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, Daredevil. I think he would fit right in, and his fighting style would complement everyone in that group. And I think personality wise, he would match up well with everyone in that group. So if you ask me, yes, Shang Chi should join the Defenders and be like, and he could even start like his own West Coast Defenders. Now, don't ask me what superheroes quite yet that I would put on a West Coast Defenders, but because I mean, this film appears to be taking place in what looks like San Francisco to me. So
Yeah, you end up with Blunt Man and Chronic.
oh my gosh, but yeah, no, like I said, he just seems to match up more with like the Defenders than anybody else for me personally. But speaking of like the Defenders and Wolverine and the X-Men, Marvel kind of like throws in a lot of surprise cameos in their movies. Are you expecting to see any in this film? And if so, like, do you think like there'll be some hints into like other Phase 4 films in this one?
I'd expect them to keep this one a little bit more contained. If anything, I would love, and I'm not sure if this has been confirmed or not, but I do think he may be in the cast list. But I want to see Ben Kingsley come back, like you were saying earlier. You kind of sold me on it. I'd like to see them drag him, into the temple and be like, you're a disgrace to the Mandarin name, and just like kill him right off the bat. That would kind of really set the tone for, oh no, this is the real Mandarin. It would really separate it. So that's kind of what I expect to see. I don't really expect to see any kind of like. I mean, maybe. I just don't know. There's just not like, because what do you do if like Thor shows up, man? He could just destroy everybody. It's you got to keep it kind of low. Maybe Hawkeye. That'd be kind of cool to see him, show up and at least talk to Shang-Chi and be like, hey, you know what? I'm putting together a team. Could really use your help, or something like that. But that's mine. I say Ben Kingsley, and I may be cheating. Whatever. He might be in the cast list, but whatever. What do you say?
You've sold me on your Ben Kingsley theory. That would set the best tone for this film, like right out of the bat, like opening scene, like you like see like like Ben Kingsley, get like thrown through like the 10 rings, like temple doors, and there is oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name, but the leader of the Ten Rings, sitting on his throne, and yeah, they immediately kill Ben the Mandarin, the Mandarin, yeah, and they kill Ben Kingsley off like right away, like that would be great for me. The only kind of like hint, wink, or nod that you might get, you might, see like a news report of like Spider-Man doing something, in like New York, and like Shang-Chi, like, like sees that on like the TV, or like they might mention, like the blip, just little things.
Or if they name drop like Kung Lun or something like
Yes,
that, that'd be
yes.
really cool.
If they name drop, yeah, like Kun Lun, yeah. I mean stuff like hints or nods to like Iron Fist, like that would be cool to see. And man, at one point in this trailer, he's fighting somebody in like this like flowing green robe and this straw hat, and I thought that was Raya from like the other Disney film for a second there, and I was like, when did Shang Chi cross over with Raya? But I mean, that looks like a spot on Raya cosplay. But other fans are actually speculating that may be like uh, a new Iron Fist actually in this film. So you may actually get to see that.
Oh, that would actually be kind of cool if they reimagine it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I could dig that for sure.
Or I mean, like that could be like one of his training masters. Is like one of the previous iterations of Iron Fist. Like taught him some stuff as well. But I mean, just like a nod to
Right
like
on.
Iron Fist would just be cool to see for sure. Like that would be a great cameo for this film. Alex, you have any more thoughts or just anything else you want to say before we jump on to our next topic there, sir?
I mean, you said it comes out. When does the release date?
September 3rd.
September 3rd. So be sure to, keep tuning in every week. We'll give you as much information as possible. I know Sam doesn't really like to watch the official trailers when they do drop, but I will be
They just
making him watch
spoil
them.
way
So.
too much. Yeah, This one had just enough action and not enough kind of like building of story in it to where I'm like, okay, I'll watch one more trailer until Alex puts into our show notes, hey, guess what we're talking about this week? The fourth trailer for Shang-Chi. And I'm like, damn it.
Hey, you can all, like I said, going back to the beginning of the show, man. You got to blame DC. They got to start putting some stuff out, and then we can, I can fill the show.
All right, but hey, sticking to our strictly Marvel themed show here, Shang-Chi was not the only trailer we got this week. We got a trailer for the mental organism designed only for killing, or MODOK for short. Yes, the first trailer for the MODOK series, which is coming to streaming service Hulu on May 21st. The animated stop-motion episodic series is the brainchild of stand-up comedian and actor-writer Patton Oswalt of Reno 911, Archer, and Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and producer/writer Jordan Blum of American Dad and Community. Alex, did we ask for a MODOK series? Does this intrigue you? What do you think about this?
I did not ask for this, but then again, I did not ask for like Rick and Morty, but I love every second of that show, and I feel like this kind of falls in with that kind of comedy style. It's more adult, and it deals with the character that I hated this guy growing up, man. I thought he just looked hideous. I had no idea why the X-Men wouldn't even feel like fighting this guy, and to see him just kind of sort of reimagined and give Patton Oswalt, of course, he's a comedic genius.
Oh
He's
yeah,
amazing.
love Patton Oswalt.
Jordan Blum has done, friend of the show, Patton Oswalt. Jordan Blum has done some amazing. He's written some of the best episodes of American Dad. So I'm gonna definitely give it a watch for sure. It is. I think they dropped the trailer like super late at night, and this is definitely gonna be for the more mature audience. So I'm digging it, and I did not ask for it to answer your question, but I will be watching, man. What about you?
I did not ask for it, but I do want it now. This trailer sold me. It looks hilarious. It kind of looks like Marvel's answer to the Harley Quinn series that has been so successful on, first of all, the DC streaming platform, now on HBO Max. It kind of has that, like you said, kind of like more mature, more adult humor tone for it. But like I said, this one came way out of left field for me. But loved the trailer, loved hearing the Third Eye Blind music with it, and was just laughing all the way through. Thought this looked great. The Hulu production boasts an impressive cast. Patton Oswalt lends his distinct voice as the titular MODOK, alongside other stars like Nathan Fillion as Wonder Man, John Hamm as Tony Stark slash Iron Man, Bill Hader, Melissa Fumero, and Whoopi Goldberg. Now, Alex, we've talked about this before, but it seems like the running theory is that some of Marvel's more mature themed products will sort of be banished to Hulu, while the more mainstream and cutesy productions will be allowed to be on the Disney Plus platform. What are some projects you would like to see join MODOK on the Hulu side?
That's a solid question. I initially thinking I want like I guess you would say like your Ghost Rider,
Yeah,
something that deals with a little bit more heavy themes and stuff like that. Or your if they ever do reboot those, your Jessica Jones, your Daredevils and stuff, the stuff that's like you said. I mean, when we talked about this earlier, I mean, you really hit the nail right on the head. You were talking about how Deadpool was just going to be relegated to Hulu, and obviously they put MODOK on there, and it's got some mature language. So yeah, I'd like to see your Ghost Riders, your Punishers, your Daredevils, stuff like that. Even if it's hopefully it won't be stop motion or anything, but because this is kind of it's a little weird. But I would like to see if they brought on like Seth Green, who does Robot Chicken, and they often poke a lot of fun at the at superheroes and everything like that. So it'd be really funny to let him have some kind of anthology show where he gets to think up a whole bunch of skits and everything. That would be kind of cool to watch him. Or if they somehow can think of something to deal with in the Star Wars universe that they can throw on Hulu and make it a bit more mature, I feel like that would be right up my alley. But I mean, other than that, I I really can't. I really can't think of anything because this one was really out of left field. It caught me completely off of guard, and I just don't know what to expect from this one. But what do you think, Sam? Is there anything other than MODOK? What would you throw on the Hulu
I
side?
mean, like I've been talking about this in tons of past episodes. I'm hoping, praying, begging Marvel to bring back all those great Netflix shows of Punisher, Jessica Jones, Daredevil, Iron Fist, and yes, put them all on Hulu because yes, and keep them as mature as they were on Netflix. So yes, bring all those back. The only other one that that really comes to mind right now, and we haven't seen this person really. We've seen the Nova Corps in Guardians of the Galaxy, but I mean, like there was a solo Nova comic book series for a while there, and I would love to see like a Nova series, possibly with Nathan Fillion in the lead as Nova, and I think that, you could do like a weekly, almost dare I say Firefly esque series of him running around the galaxy, fighting evil, and I think that would look great as a TV series, and I think it would be great to be on Hulu. That's the
Man, you're on fire today because I didn't even think about the cosmic side of Marvel. Like, yeah, you could do the
yeah,
Ravagers. There's
man.
a whole like universe out there
Starjammers.
you could put on. Oh yeah,
I mean,
man, that's
you could
amazing.
even get like an Adam Warlock TV series, because Adam Warlock was teased at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and while we don't know what Guardians of the Galaxy 3 holds, like there really wasn't much follow up with him, and once again, I think he could lend himself, to being like a really great, just yeah, Marvel space and Marvel TV.
Should have been getting that Guardians 3, but instead we're getting that holiday special.
Yeah,
Yikes! But
I know, but yeah, I think you put it best. Like Marvel has a lot of untapped space, hero resources out there, and I think Star Trek and even the Star Wars Disney Plus has shown us like there's an audience out there for really great, space themed sci-fi, you know, TV series. So yes, definitely Marvel look into that, and start making, space themed TV series off of your Marvel heroes and put them on Hulu, and
for sure,
people will watch.
a- absolutely, absolutely, and it doesn't even have to be with Marvel. Like I said, man, if you just do like that show Below Decks, I don't know if you've ever seen it.
Not yet.
on I think it's Paramount Plus now is what it's called. It's funny as hell, and you definitely should watch it. And it does kind of fall in line with your like you said, the Harley Quinns, and I think this MODOK will fall in line with that too. So I'm glad that we're getting something that I can come home from work and just put on the TV while I fall asleep. Like that's all I'm asking for. Because up until now, it's just been like switching back and forth between Hulu and Archer. So thank God.
Well, we look forward to sharing our thoughts on Moto as MODOK. Sorry, not Moto. MODOK as episodes drop each week following the show's release on May 21st. All right, moving over to our weekly segment. Oh, this show just keeps getting better and better and better.
Man.
That's right, folks. We are about to review the latest episode for us of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Alex, I'm remembering this
It's
time.
amazing.
Yes, spoiler pause here. Pause the episode, go watch it, come back, pick up the episode here. I'm going to give you the famous, the now infamous My Comic Life 4 second countdown. Four,
Fully trademarked.
yes, fully trademarked. Four, three, two, one. Okay, spoiler alert. All right. The fifth episode, titled simply Truth, premiered April 16th, and as this show's specialty, we pick right back up after the previous week's cliffhanger. Wilson and Barnes demand the shield from Walker, leading to a fight in which Walker destroys Wilson's wingsuit. Wilson and Barnes take the shield, breaking Walker's arm. Barnes finds Zemo and Sokovia and hands them over to the Dora Milaje. Walker receives an other than honorable discharge and is stripped of his title as Captain America. Afterwards, Walker is approached by Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, and Wilson leaves the damage. Yeah, oh my gosh. Had to slow that one down. That's a heck of a name for you. Wilson then leaves the damaged wingsuit with Torres and visits Bradley, who states his belief that a black man cannot and should not be Captain America. Wilson returns home and helps fix the family boat with assistance from several locals, and Barnes also delivers a briefcase from the Wakandans to Wilson. Barnes and Wilson train with the Shield and agree to move on from their past and work together. The Flag Smashers plan an attack on the GRC conference in New York and are joined by Batroc, who says that he has a personal vendetta against the Falcon. In a mid-credit scene, Walker, who seems to be losing it, builds a new shield from scrap metal and his war medals. Man, this one was a doozy, Alex.
Yeah.
What were your initial thoughts on this episode?
I just like my initial thoughts. I really like how they pick up these past two episodes, especially. They pick up kind of where the cliffhanger has left off. Because the worst thing ever is when they leave you with a cliffhanger and then just immediately go away from it. Man, what was that show? It was Heroes.
Yes.
Back in the day.
Yes.
They used to love doing that, and it used to drive me nuts, man.
Save the cheerleaders,
I
save
hated
the
every minute
world.
of Oh man, don't you're giving me PTSD right now. But I digress. This show, this might be my favorite episode up to this point, and probably all season, because it was like, while it wasn't too heavy on the action, it did allow for a lot of growth and a lot of kind of it's just, and we've been saying it this entire season, the camaraderie between Sam Wilson and Bucky Barnes has just been amazing. It's almost like and we were talking about this earlier, almost like a Judd Apatow movie where they just like they go action and they just let them rip on each other, and it's fun to watch. But other than that, I mean, Zemo, I hope we get to see him again. It kind of, I was a little bit disappointed in the way that he just kind of gave up and went with the Dora Milaje, but I'm glad he's still alive, so I got that. So there is a possibility that he will come back. The military trial with Walker was pretty gut wrenching, man. When you see, I mean, because he honestly was like, I've done things for this country that, I'm not proud of, but I did it, because of the love that I have from my fellow Americans, and so that must have been really difficult for him to do, and then to be this whole it's just so much that was packed into this episode. And I'm just super really enjoying this show. I'm really sad that this is like the fifth episode of 6 episodes. So, but what about you, Sam? I could go on for hours and hours, but I'm gonna go ahead and stop myself here because I know we still got a couple of questions that we gotta cover. What were your initial reactions to
Oh
this
man,
episode?
just blown away. I mean, like this show just continues to build and build and build, and each episode is just building on the last episode and just getting stronger and stronger and stronger. So much stuff to cover here. Like you said, we could go on for hours for this. Man, the brutal throwdown to obtain the shield, where like you had to break Walker's arm to get it off him because he wasn't gonna let it go. But in the process, Sam lost his wings and got his wings ripped off by Walker. I mean, ouch. Did not see that coming.
Yeah,
Yeah, like you, I felt kind of bad for Walker at his trial. Because like I felt like he had done everything he thought was right in his mind. You know, to be the best Captain America he could be, and I think he just kind of buckled. I mean, it would be impossible for almost anyone with like that much pressure and that big of a mantle to live up to. Just to even begin to try to like do that. So yeah, I'm not sure if I was ready for him to sort of like have a little bit of a redemption arc or start back on that road toward like redemption, but like I definitely felt bad for him like coming out of that trial, especially and this is just great writing and great direction like when like the senator shut him down when he was trying to like make a statement and justify and explain look man, this is what happened, this is why I did it, there were extenuating circumstances, and they just kept shutting him down, being like, no, no, we don't want to hear it. You didn't do what Captain
yeah.
America would have done in that situation, so you're just gone. You're just not Captain America. But that is so much of like an impossible standard to live up to, and nobody is going to react the same way, to the same situation, and you can't expect them to. But yeah, so there was that. I loved seeing Sam put out all the phone calls to the community, to everyone who owed, like the Wilson family favors to help come fix up the boat. Love to continue to see his and Bucky's camaraderie just grow and grow and grow. Love the whole shield tossing scene. It's like they were having a game of catch in the backyard, but they were,
It really
yeah,
was.
but they were just tossing the shield around, just talking, like two guys would do after like a barbecue, just drinking some beer and just tossing the old shield around, um, so yeah, just so many great things. Actually, I kind of liked where they left off with Zemo. Once again, that kind of tugged at my heartstrings a little bit, seeing him at the Sokovia memorial there, and just seeing just kind of like a little memorial and like a giant crater lake around him. Uh, Also, the reason I don't think we're seeing the last of him, and the reason I was okay with him kind of being taken away in the way that he was he made peace with Barnes, and he's like, hey Barnes, I already crossed my name off your list there. I don't know whether Barnes was going to kill him or not. Like I was curious to see Barnes take on that, but Zemo kind of stole the scene there, being like, look man, I'm not going to kill you. I've already crossed my name off your list. You don't got to do anything with me there. I would have liked to seen Barnes been like, look, man, you were on my list because I was going to kill you or something, But still, love that. And the reason I don't think we're seeing the last of Zemo is because the Dora Milaje tell Bucky that they're taking him to the raft. And, I mean, everybody's broken out of the raft, man.
At least once or
Yeah,
twice.
at
I think
least.
I broke out of there last
Yeah,
week.
yeah, man. So, I mean, and that's his whole thing is that like he's this great escape guy and like great villain, and like he can almost like get out of any situation. So no, I don't expect to see Zemo being on the raft for very long, or any longer than he chooses to be. So yeah, so no, thought that was great. But how on earth was Marvel able to keep megastar Julia Louis Dreyfus under wraps? Like, I really did not see Contessa Valentina Allegra Day Fontaine coming into this show. That totally caught me off guard.
I think she's like, man, of all the people that would possibly make a cameo in a Marvel movie, she'd be on the low end. Like anybody from the Seinfeld, um, from the Seinfeld school would be really low on the totem pole. But I think she did a great job. She does a fantastic job as Contessa. I didn't know anything about her, but she made me like immediately after the episode. I jumped on YouTube to learn as much as I could about her. Apparently, she goes way back with Nick Fury, like back before all the Avengers and everything like that. Like when Nick Fury started Shield, I think she started some other. She was working with Hydra, but she was like a triple agent. It's really really confusing. It's really crazy, but Julia Louis Dreyfus did an amazing job as her. She came off as like she's like this little you know small framed woman, but she came off as extremely intimidating and unafraid. And she was just like, I know you took the serum. I know you don't have the shield. I don't care. Here's my number. And there's no number on the card. And it's like, it's just so weird. But I loved every second of it. She was, she was definitely, because I know going into this episode, we had kind of got it spoiled for us. Everybody knew that there was going to be some kind of cameo in this episode, that it wasn't going to be somebody that we've ever met before, and that it was going to kind of be a big introduction. And this, like, it I could have never thought of it, but it was amazing, and it fit all those categories that the spoilers and everything had. But I think I heard that they were able to keep her under wraps by they had to escort her on set every day in like a giant like blanket, like big giant coat or something like that, to hide her. And so that was, learning about that was pretty crazy. But my hat's off to Marvel, because I mean, to keep something like that under wraps is really like pretty difficult, considering you got like most of the world watching you. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, man. I think
Um,
she is a great fit for Val here, or Contessa, but yeah, Val for short. Man, she was sleazy. She was creepy. She made my skin crawl. I felt like she was like a mom, but talk in that scene with like Walker. I felt like she was a mom, like talking down to her kid, like so condescending. But Walker was eating it up, like, "Oh, sweetie, it's not your fault. We all really knew, that you tried your hardest. You did the best you could. Nobody could have expected you to do anymore. And it's totally okay that you don't have the shield, darling. And in fact, it was a good thing that you took the steroids. That's just going to help you in like the long run, dear. You did everything right. You know what I mean? I mean, like, that was perfect. That was spot on. And also, Val is returning in the upcoming Black Widow film, with rumors swirling around that she could be forming some sort of Dark Avengers team. Alex, if this rumor is true, who would you like to see drafted onto your Dark Avengers?
uh, Obviously Walker, and I think Yelena is actually a member of the Dark Avengers in the comic books. Um, Dark Avengers, I guess Wolverine. Um, and I think so. In the comic books, you have Daken, who is Wolverine's son, is Wolverine. You have Bullseye, I think, takes over as Hawkeye, and then you have Yelena, and I think you have John Walker in there as well. And there's a few others that I'm blanking on, but I would like to see most of them. Maybe one of these older Spider-Man that they're bringing back in this next Spider-Man movie. Like maybe we do get Tobey Maguire strolling down the street one more time, dancing around like, now dig on this. I'd love to see that again. Uh, but right now I'm just kind of enjoying the ride. It's like it's really hard to speculate, because so much, like, I was just blown away by this, by Contessa being introduced. So that's probably would be my couple of picks. But what about you, Sam? You got anybody in mind?
Yeah. So, I mean, if she's heading up the Dark Avengers, and this was kind of hinted at, yes, I want to see John Walker in there as the U.S. agent. I think that would be great. I would love to see Norman Osborn or a Norman Osborn-esque type as the Iron Patriot, but I mean like be like the douchiest Iron Patriot you can be, like make me like hate every word that you're saying. We haven't seen any of the Greek side of the Marvel pantheon yet, but Ares, I think Ares would be like another really fun and like just destructive character that would be great to see. And then bring back old Thunderbolt Thaddeus Ross and give him gamma radiation, and let's round out our
Oh,
dark.
Red Hulk.
Yes, let's round out our Dark Avengers with the Red Hulk. I think that would be a really fun team to see. But I want her leading the Dark Avengers. I want Val leading this team. I think that would be great.
So let me ask you, Sam, what was your favorite part of this episode? I know there was a lot,
Oh
so
my
if you want to
gosh.
pick just one.
Probably. I mean, like, God, more than one part. The fight for the shield. Um, Zemo, of course, and seeing Sam, being able to like call in all those favors and get, like rally the community around him and his family and help them in their time of need of like fixing their boat and kind of like getting their life back on track. That all really stuck out to me, and I thought those were really great points in this episode. What about you? What did you like, or what were some of your favorite parts?
I think I had just one favorite part, and it really had to be the conversation between Sam and Isaiah Bradley, because that was when he busted out the letters, dude. I know you're normally the one that be turning on the waterworks in this show, but I was just like, wow, that one almost got me. Like I was definitely tearing up when he was talking about how, the effect that serving for America had on him, and just him just leveling with Sam, and you could really understand why he felt the way he felt. You certainly can't blame him for feeling the way that he felt. And it was, when Sam was like, we got to help you, we got to get, to have the people know, and he was like, no, just let my legacy die, just leave me alone. I'm better off them thinking I'm just dead. And it's like, it just, something like that just hits you like a ton of bricks. And it was expertly written, and like you could just feel the intensity of that scene, as they have so many times in this show. um WandaVision could take notes, you know what I'm saying? But that would be the one for me. To me, no other scene. They're all great, but no other scene even came close to like the gravity that his conversation with
Yeah,
Isaiah
no,
had.
his whole argument for not wanting to pick up the shield, and just the government's abused me, and like I had to get like a nurse to like take pity on me, to like declare me dead so I could sneak out of her. Yeah, that whole side, gut wrenching. I mean, yeah, I turned on the waterworks a little bit as well when he's like, look, they wouldn't deliver her letters to me. I didn't know about them until like the nurse brought them to me. They told her I was dead. Yeah, that was a gut punch. But yeah, yeah, that was definitely one of the strongest parts of this episode, and just amazing, amazing. Credit to the writing team and credit to the actors in that scene. I mean, they just blew me away.
Absolutely. So what would you rate this week's
Oh man,
episode? 1 to 10.
9.5, close to a 9.8. This was almost a perfect TV episode for me. I really couldn't find much wrong with it. Like you said, just amazing, gut wrenching scenes. A great continuation of the story. Great cameo with Julia Louis Dreyfus. Just this just had it all really for me. I mean, just fantastic episode. Alex, what are you giving this?
Yeah, I kind of gotta. Yeah, I'll give it that 9.8, man. It was fantastic. I can only take points off because, like I said, I really felt like Zemo should have put up a little bit more of a fight, and but that was really my only like deduction from an otherwise amazing, well acted, well written, well scripted like episode. It was just, oh, top notch, man, top notch.
All right, folks. Well, this wraps up another episode of My Comic Life. As always, we appreciate you listening. A shout out to our My Comic Life fan of the week, Rick Rambus from Piscataway, New Jersey. We appreciate you listening, liking, subscribing, emailing us your thoughts on the show. Rick Rambus, you are our My Comic Life Fan of the Week. Thank you, sir. And as always, folks, you can continue to like and subscribe on our Facebook page. We have a YouTube channel. Just look for that awesome My Comic Life logo there and subscribe. And also, if you want to hear us talk about more video games, more comic stuff, if you want to hear Alex and I go through another top 10 list, email us at realmycomiclife@gmail.com. Again, that's realmycomiclife@gmail.com. But that wraps up this episode. So, as always, ditch the herd, be a nerd, stay strong out there, my friends.